Hey, graphic designers, we are ready to roll on our illustration project. If you haven't already stopped and finished that illustrating an apple video parts 1 and part 2, it was due yesterday. If you didn't finish it, as soon as you were done with today's lesson, and you do need to finish today's lesson before you go back to do late work, stop the video, at least make sure you know what I'm talking about. So it's the illustrating an apple video, parts 1 and part 2. You're tracing the apple, you're learning some new tools in addition to the pen tool. It does start you out with the review of the pen tool, but then it gets into some more fun, easier ones. I'll also again say this is a whole lot easier if you have a mouse rather than trying to use that finger pad. If you haven't already gotten a mouse and you need one, please reach out to me and we will figure it out, okay? So, illustration. You have this slide presentation in there. We're going to go through it briefly here today, and then I'm going to show you your assignment. You have 2 days to get this assignment done. 2 days to get the pre-planning, because that's what we're doing today. We're doing some research and some pre-planning, some sketching if you want to, getting ready for the project. If you are not in class with me, and you haven't already watched these videos, stop and take a minute. They're really fun. They're really cute. This one here, if you haven't, it's a riot. This one talks a little bit about one of our favorite illustrators is Eric Carle, who created the the Very Hungry Caterpillar. And then this one goes over Michael Hall, who is another children's book illustrator. The reason I pulled up these illustrators is because it's, for most of us, it's our first interaction with illustration. And so we understand it. Also, it's probably just the most fun way to start off. But we know that there are a wide variety of different types of illustrators. So remember, illustrators are this weird creature in the art world. They're really neither a studio fine artist, nor are they a straight up designer. They kind of live in both worlds. So they work a lot like a studio artist because they have traditional art making skills. So they're really adept at drawing and painting, collage work, all of those traditional technical skills. But they also have a good understanding of the graphic design world because they often work with graphic designers. They are employed by different publications, by different companies to do a job. Unlike a fine artist who does work of their own making, of their own choosing, an illustrator takes on jobs, right? They use those artistic skills to illustrate things like articles that go in magazines, or they might work with a fashion designer or a fashion line doing illustrations for fashions. Map makers are often illustrators. Think of every map that you've ever seen. Other than Google Maps, they're not photographic. They're hand-drawn. Somebody has to do that. Illustrations in medical textbooks. Majority of those are still drawn. Why? You can't really photograph the inside of things very well, very cleanly. So an illustrator still is tasked with that job. And then beyond that, very simple things like directions to those IKEA terrible cabinets that you buy and try to put together. Somebody had to do those little drawings. Okay. So fashion, medical, technical, maps, advertising, books and textbooks, which we're familiar with, and stationery, which is where we are going with this project. So we finished our video. We're getting ready to make a greeting card. You might make more than one, in fact, and it does not matter to me what type of greeting card you make. It does, of course, need to be school appropriate, but have some fun with this. It can be a Christmas card. It can be birthday cards. It can be fun and whimsical. It can be cute and stylish. You can abstract these. Remember, these are illustrations. They're not meant to be photographic drawings. So don't worry about, I can't draw really well. I don't know how to shade. It can be kind of graphic looking. It can be flat. It can be abstracted. So you can see the girls here. They don't even have arms. They don't have a nose. That's fine. It's abstract. Okay. You're simplifying it, especially if you're still struggling with Illustrator and you're like, I don't know how to make those super complex things. Don't make it super basic. You can do basic. Basic is okay. So here's what you're going to be doing is I'm going to show you the template file in a little bit here after I show you the breakdown of your research and planning that you've got to do. You are going to be drawing from scratch a design, but don't worry because I'm still going to allow you to trace just like we did in the Illustrating an Apple video, okay? It will be a blank document on the inside of your card, but on the outside, you will have to put text with your drawing. Here's what I'm going to be looking at when I score this. I'm going to look at your understanding of the Illustrator program. So if I'm seeing just one basic little heart and that's it, guess what? Not the greatest grade. You have to show me you're starting to get some of this stuff. Okay, we're towards the end of the semester now. You should be feeling a little bit more comfortable in Illustrator. I'm going to look at your creativity and difficulty level. So if it looks like it took you 5 minutes, I'm going to take about 5 minutes to grade it. And it's going to be a real low score. This should look like it's time and care involved. Even though it might be a simple, charming little illustration, it still should look like you took time with it. Also, I want to see some creativity in how you replicate. Don't just trace over something, but have some fun with your colors. Have some fun with your textures and how you stylize your object or whatever it is you're illustrating. I'm going to look at your use of the elements of art. So I am going to look at your use of color and line and texture to do something creative and interesting visually. And then I'm going to look at your procedures and effort. So again, procedures and effort is, did you follow directions? Did you turn it in on time? All of those things that a good student needs to do. Some of the do's. Feel free to abstract and stylize your design. So you can see this one here, it's very stylized. It's not photographic. It's not realistic looking. Also, change your colors. You don't have to do things realistically colored. If you want to see a blue hippopotamus, make a blue hippopotamus. Those are actually probably the more charming and fun ideas. Look online to get ideas. You're going to be forced to do that in a minute here. And then use creative Illustrator elements like filters, changing up your line quality, so maybe thick versus thin. And I do want you to think about filling the entire space. Yes, you can put one simple illustration in the center with white around it, or like you can see this one here, they put an entire environment. You can put a border on it. Have some fun with this. Push yourself. Some of the don'ts. Don't simply copy a design from the internet. And again, I'm going to show you that in a second here on your homework. You cannot trace another illustrator's work. So this would be an example. Let's say I wanted to do, I think this is a French bulldog, right? So remember I said you could trace. That's fine. You can go online and get a photo of a French bulldog and come up with your own illustration, kind of trace over it to use it as a template. But you cannot find somebody's drawing or design of a French bulldog and retrace that. That's not cool. Don't do that. That's plagiarism, and that will earn you a 0 on this project. Careful of putting your text too close to the edges of your card. So if this is the margins of my card, make sure that those texts don't get within, I would say, like a quarter of an inch, just because it's visually kind of disconcerting when you have text that's that close. And then be careful not to over-rely.
Good morning. Please rise for the pledge.
Give me 1 second here.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands.
We've got the pledge going on
one
today.
nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Don't forget, this time, please make sure you get your lunch order in. Also, a reminder today, picture retakes will be up in the small gym during lunch, and Johnson's will be here for seniors for graduation orders and for sophomores for ring orders. Thank you. Have a great day.
All right, a little bit of normalcy for those of you guys who are full remote. You get to hear the daily pledge. That's awesome. So overuse of the symbols panel. So in the Illustrating an Apple video, you learned how to use the symbols panel. Actually, it should have been a review. We've already done it. You saw how to break the link and even change the colors. But if your entire illustration is made up from the symbols panel, and I know what symbols are in the symbols panel, so I will know if you did that, that's going to result in an extremely low score as well. You need to make an original illustration. Yes, you can use the symbols panel to add extras, other details, other things, background elements, that's fine. But the main dominant part of your illustration needs to be original. You need to draw it in Illustrator. All right, so here's what we're doing today. You should have this sheet in Google Classroom. So when you're done with the video or right now, you're going to find this. All right, the first thing you're going to do is in this box here, I want a minimum of 10 different card illustrations that you like. So we're literally just going to do a Google image search, and I gave you some ideas for suggested key terms like greeting card design or greeting card illustration. You're going to find some that you like, and I want you to pay close attention to the stylized drawing of it. So like, let's say you like the softness of this, or maybe, oops, I'm going to go back there. Maybe I like the starkness of this. I like how it's black and white. So I want you to pay close attention to how they illustrated it. Or if you're like, I really like that it's just shape-based. I like abstract art. I want to do something like this. Or if I like, oh, I like how the circle is there. You are going to copy and paste a minimum of 10. Now this is one image. Don't say, oh, no, sure, that's 7. No, it's not. It's 1. Okay, 7 different images. Again, like this counts as 1. But if you like this, you're like, oh, I like how it's not flat color. I like how it's kind of washy and stuff. You're going to copy it. You're going to paste it in there. Minimum of 10. Now these you can resize them. It doesn't have to be really big here. This is basically forcing you to kind of look at different ways that illustrators use elements and principles of design. All right, that's what you're doing here. So you're going to do that 10 times. So I'm going to keep going back. Oops. And I'm going to find some more. And they don't all have to look the same. They can be different. So let's say, like that one, like how flat it is. Oh, I think that one's cute. Let's go with this one. Okay, so I've got my minimum of 10, and I'm just kind of a design geek. I probably would have more because I like looking at this stuff. All right, then what you're going to do is out of your 10, you're going to pick your favorite. Which one did you like the most? And you're going to paste it in this box here. And then you have a reflection. You are going to write a minimum of 3 sentences describing what it is you like about this thing. And I'm actually going to crop this so I can see it better. Oops, didn't get right on that handle. So if you want to know how to crop, this is how you crop in Google Doc. Blow that up a little bit so I can see what I'm doing here. All right, so specifically, what is it that I like about this? So I might say, I like the thin lines. It makes it look, quote unquote, sweeter. I also like the blue bubbles in the background and how they are kind of see-through. I feel like the soft textures of the pink also make it a very sweet image. That's 3 sentences. I'm saying some specific things in here. Why? Because it's getting you to look at and start thinking as a designer. What is it about that I like, and how can I replicate that? So now maybe in my card, I'm getting some ideas like, oh, I could do some basic shapes back there, and I could use that transparency panel and make it kind of see-through. And so you're getting ideas. Doesn't feel like research, but believe me, it is actually research. It's just not the boring kind. Okay. From here, now we got to start planning. Now that you've done some research, you got to plan. You need to decide what's going to be on your card. If you are a person who is a draftsman, a drawer, you're really good, and you want to draw your illustration from scratch and scan it in and color it, perfect. You're going to draw it in this box here, or just on a separate sheet of paper, and then make sure you send me a good quality image of that, and I will scan it for you. Most of us, though, we're going to trace. So if I know I want to do an octopus, I want to do something just like this, similar. I shouldn't say just like this, something similar to this. Well, I need an image of an octopus, or actually, maybe I decide I'm going to do a cow. I want to do a cute baby cow. I don't want to do an octopus. I want to do a cute cow. I need to find an image to trace. So a couple things when you're finding your image. You cannot use pictures like this, or like this, or like this. Why? Because those are not photos. Those are artworks. And if you trace an artwork, you are plagiarizing. It's no different than pulling up somebody else's poem and retyping it. Can't do that. Okay, it's plagiarism. But you can take a photo. You're going to find that. Oops. And you're going to paste that in here because I want to see your reference image. I want to see what you used to trace. All right. Then this is done. And you can submit this. You have 2 days starting now to get this turned in, to do your research. I don't think that's asking too much. Okay. While I have you here, though, before I release you, I am going to have you show you how to get started, because once you have this image that you're going to trace, you need to put it in the template. And if you shut your computer down, you can't copy and paste from Google Doc into Illustrator. So I want to show you while we have this. So I would do that right away. As soon as you're done and you found your picture with this assignment, you will see there is a template attached. This is the template. This is the template that you're going to start using for your project. Okay. So once you're done with this, make sure that you download this attachment so you can get ready. All right. You're going to notice there's actually 2 cards here. You are only required to do 1 new design. So that means if you're only doing one, you're going to make a copy. So you're going to have two of your same card. But some of us might want to do more than one. We might want to do a different illustration. So your top and your bottom might be different. So you might ask, why is this the front of the card? Think about a card, the way you fold it. Because once we print these out, this is going to get cut and folded. This will be the front of the card. So the first thing you'll do is you will delete the fronts, right? Then you're going to take that picture that you've virtually, I've got it copied. I'm going to paste it in here. Remember, hold down Shift. And don't worry if it hangs over, okay? Because we're going to delete this when you're done, just like you did the apple, or you can even put it over here. I don't care. And you're going to trace over it. You need to put this in the template, all right? Because like I said, you cannot, it won't let you, for whatever reason, it won't let you copy and paste from a Google Doc into here, all right? So once you've got your image, make sure you save this, save as, and save it in your projects folder, okay? That'll be the last thing you do for your summit. You don't have to turn this in yet. We're not going to turn this in for a few days at least because we still need to work on it. This is what's due in 2 days' time. This form completed is due in 2 days' time. Get to work.